Under the episode Balal Masco, the 10 Talks, Land Without Justice, the stories of displacement and fear among Acholi families. We must remember that the first one was Arab traders who evicted Acholi mid-18 to late 18, the era of early disruption. Before the arrival of colonial rule, Acholi communities were already facing external pressure from Arab traders. These traders brought with them guns, slavery and violence. In exchange for ivory, they offered firearms but also raided communities. This era created fear, destabilized traditional leadership and introduced the first external attempts to control land and people through coercion. The second one is the Christian missionaries, late 18 to early 19,000. Land in exchange for salvation. Missionaries arrived with the gospel, but also with intentions to settle. Mission land was acquired through manipulation, pressure on local chiefs, or miscommunication. Many of these missionary institutions acquired prime land under the guise of education and religion. Today, those same lands remain church-owned and communities living around them have little or no say, despite having donated the land generations ago. There are some people, some Acholi elites and locals who are also in dispute with these missionaries, claiming they have encroached their neighboring communities. We have seen examples of forceful acquisition like in Powell chieftaincy, which was later on merged. So, not easy. Well, the third one is the British colonial rule from 1894 to 1962, formalizing this possession. Colonial administrators introduced land registration system that ignored common land tenure. Under the 1900 Baganda agreement model, land was parceled into Malo and Crown land. In Acholi, land was considered customary and thus not legally protected. Chiefs were turned into agents of colonial rule and often lost legitimacy among their people. Acholi became a labor reserve for British plantations elsewhere, while their land remained underutilized by design, denied development, yet vulnerable to future exploitation. One of the fights that at Acholi Pro Evo TV we are fighting for is for people to respect their chiefs once again. The fourth one is the Sesefly eradication campaigns of 1940s to 1960s. Forced displacement in the name of science. There was large swaths of Acholi land which were declared uninhabitable due to Sesefly infestation. The British relocated people into camps or concentrated villages. These biocontrol efforts were used to clear land for future development or scientific conservation. In reality, it opened pathways for surveying land without community resistance and reclassified some areas as game reserves or government land. I, for one, was named Pade, my real name, but I did not write it because Pade at that time were under Sesefly attack. The fifth one is Idi Amin's regime. Through Idi Amin's government, although the Idi Amin government did not officially grab land in Acholi, his brutal purges and ethnic targeting caused fear and retreat. Many Acholi fled to Sudan, Congo, or to remote areas. Others lost land informally to army personnel. This period also weakened traditional institutions, further leaving a power vacuum over land ownership in the Acholi and guardianship. The sixth one is the LRA Wars of the 1986 to 2006. Camps, abandonment, and the disappearance of boundaries. For fucking 20 years, over 90% of Acholi people were forced into internally displaced people's camps by the government, allegedly for their protection from Joseph Coin's Lord-resistant army. This prolonged displacement severed physical and spiritual connections with ancestral land. In their absence, land was illegally sold, leased, or claimed by opponents, politicians, and investors. When families returned, their land was gone or under dispute. The seventh one is the post-war investors and government elites. From 2006 to 2015 and even till now, land deals in the shadows after the guns fell silent. New battles began in the courtrooms and land offices. Investors and powerful elites set conflicts among the Acholi, acquired huge chunks of Acholi land for sugarcane, teak, minerals, and oil. Customer landowners were left confused by complex paperwork and legal systems designed for far from the village. Government land boards, often corrupt, gave out titles to outsiders without community consultations. The eighth one is what we are in now. The Balalo invasion of 2010 till present, grazing under the gun. The most recent and aggressive threat comes from the Balalo, wealthy cattle keepers, mainly from Rwanda, claims to come from Western Uganda, or mixed. They arrive with the trucks full of cattle backed by soldiers or armed guards, claiming to have leases. Their herds destroy crops, contaminate water sources, and intimidate locals. In some areas, they have built permanent homes and forced land and fenced their land. When communities resist, they are met with violence or told to produce paperwork they never had under customary dam law. Number 9 is political manipulation and legal maneuvering. It is still up to present day. Land theft in shoots and ties. Today, land grabs no longer require guns, but only need a lawyer, a title deed, and a signature in Kampala community land. In Kampala, community land is being reclassified as freehold or public land and leased for 99 years to investors. Some Acholi leaders are silent, others are complicit. The Kwaro institution, which should protect land, is divided and weak. Communities live in fear, watching land pass into the hands of people they have never met. All I can say is, what began as a trade, then missionary expansion, became colonial law, and now operates as corporate and political exploitation. Acholi families have become strangers on some of their own land, living with displacement, fear, and uncertainty. Land without justice is not just a story of lost property. It is the story, heresy of culture, identity, and dignity. Unless urgent protections are enacted, the land will remain Acholi in name only, while ownership is transferred to those with power, not birthright.